And I'm sorry that we don't have like mic stands, because usually I would have mic stands, but I only have one in there. So
It's okay.
yeah. But everybody, this is Andrew Vose, a new friend of mine who I actually met while I was serving at a restaurant that I work at called The Wharf down on the beach. And I was taking care of him, and we just got into this conversation about real estate, and it was really cool how we just connected immediately. And a short time after, a few days after, we went and got coffee together and just had a great conversation about life. And he's got a lot of really cool stories to tell as far as real estate and as far as, just business in general and life. So I'm excited to talk with him today. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm doing outstanding. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
It was great to meet you. You go out with the intent of enjoying life, or you don't go out with the intent to meet people, but you meet people while you're out, right? So, I'm glad we crossed paths.
Yeah, definitely. So one question that I like to kind of start off every conversation with is kind of getting like a background of who you are. So like, where did you grow up? What was your childhood like? And like, what can you tell me about you as a person?
Yeah. Is this how deep do you want me to go?
As deep as you're comfortable going.
Okay. All right. So grew up in upstate New York. My mom was a social worker. My dad was a cop. I was an only child. We were your typical. So I grew up in a predominantly like Italian area in upstate New York, right? Small town. I think our graduating class had like 120 people. So very small. And like right across the street from my house was a Catholic school that I didn't go to. I went to public school, but like right around the corner was a big Catholic church. So a lot of people, raised Catholic there, and Sunday Catholics, right? Like they go through all week. They go through Monday through Saturday, do what they do, and then they show up to church on Sunday and repent it all away, right? So that was kind of the environment I grew up in, and I had a lot of behavioral issues, right? I don't know what the root cause of it is. I still haven't figured it out. I don't know if I was like trying to be cool, if I just thought it was like, I don't know, like Dennis the Menace type stuff, like if I just like, so I had all that going on. So when I was 15, my dad passed away, and I actually went to juvie. Well, in the process of him passing away. So for various things, right? Things I, no longer do or not proud of, but it kind of shaped me. Because I've always growing up, I was always very resourceful. Even though I was like labeled as a spoiled, rotten kid, I like knew how to get stuff done. Or like, how to win friends and influence people, right? Like it's like a great book. You read that book, I read that book, and I'm like, this is what I've been doing my whole life. I just didn't know it at a young age, and I wasn't good at like those guys in that book, they're masters at it. I was just like scratching the surface, like Baby Yoda, right? I was just may the fourth be with you. It was yesterday. That's why I saw it. So that's why I used the Yoda reference. But it's a little of my childhood. I mean, grew up, I caused a lot of like heartache, pain in my life. But I learned a ton from it, right? Like joined the Army at 19.
Oh, wow.
So I did the Army appreciate that. I did the Army for 10 years. So I was 6 combat deployments, 1 Iraq, it's not a big deal. 5 to Afghanistan. I was in the special operations community majority, 7.5 out of the 9 or 10 years I was in. So I was always like, so that kind of switched on a competitive side of me. Like I played sports growing up and I was competitive, but I just didn't have that like aggression competitive that I feel like men need to have. Men need to know how to turn it on and off, right? Because one of our jobs in life is to protect, right? I didn't really have that, right? So the military helped me kind of turn that switch. and kind of get that competitive, that aggressive side of me. And it was, so I did that. And then, I'll just pause there.
Wow. Yeah. So when you say like you were getting into a lot of trouble when you were growing up, like what is like something that you would have done, or an example of also how you were resourceful as well? Like those.
So you really want to go deep on this. All right. So
Well,
I was, so the audience, I don't know the audience, but, so basically at a young age, I found myself like getting in a lot of fights, ran my mouth a lot, all that. But there was the resourceful side was, I lived pretty close to the Canadian border. And this is before Canada had strict rules about U.S. people going back and forth. Well, both sides had strict rules, right? It was like you show an ID, you're across the border. Now you got to actually have passports, stuff like that. Well, I got connected with these people that were bringing high amounts of drugs to and from Canada. So I found myself at a young age, like being basically transporting drugs. And when I say resourceful is I'm a child basically operating in a man's community, right?
Well,
like I had to grow up quick. I had to learn what to say, what not to say, understand patterns.
Jeez.
There's a few times that I was in situations that, that if I would have ran my mouth, the situation could have escalated and gone way further, right? But no, I just like didn't. And it just faded away, fizzled away, and it just didn't end up worse than it could have. But so resourcefulness is I like being around all these different types of people. You learn like patterns and adaptability, and you're like watching these people. And I'm 15. I'm not mature. Right. I'm 38 now, and I'm still thinking like I'm still not emotionally intelligent as I should be. Right there, I was not even close. Right. So I'm like, so like to operate in that space, and you got to kind of like adapt very quickly and understand. So I was street smart, right? Like I was a C student. All my teachers would tell my parents like, how come this dude comes in, does really good on these tests, but he's got a failing grade because he doesn't do his homework, or he gets kicked out of class, or he does. And they just couldn't figure it out. And in reality, that I do have figured out. It's very hard to put a young child with tons of energy and sit him in class for 8 hours.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's like, all right, sit here for 8 hours and do something you don't want to do. Right. So like, I think it's especially hard for boys, right? Because of our nature, right? Like we're rambunctious. We're like, we're meant to be like outside, like discovering the world, like playing around. So at a young age, that's what I mean by resourceful is like, I had to learn people and environments very quickly.
Yeah. So you were in the Army for 10 years, you said?
Yeah.
And then what did it look like when you kind of got out and started living a civilian life again?
Yeah. So when I was in that resourcefulness, that kind of like that street smarts transferred in. I was in good shape. The Army helped me get in better shape. I was around high performance individuals all the time, right? Like, so one of my units I was in was all guys. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying it just is. But all of them were like, I don't like the word alpha because I don't think every guy that works in a high performance area is an alpha. I think it's, but they were definitely peak level, like fitness, intelligence,
right?
Like drive, right? So I worked around these individuals. So it was always like the bar was always like being raised,
and it was competitive,
right? Yeah, it was very competitive. So, so I worked there, but I wasn't like a combat MOS. So when I did combat stuff, it was kind of unique for me to do it. but I worked in these positions that required me to work with high level, like ranking officers or senior leaders from like Afghanistan CIA, their FBI, their police. Like I was like their handler. Like, and it was, so I had to be adaptable, right? Like I had to learn. So I was always very resourceful in that. Like they would ask me to get them stuff and I was able to get it, or I would just show up with a new truck that I'd like talked my way into getting. Like it was just like stuff that doesn't sound like wow now. In the moment, it was like, that's freaking cool, right? Like, how did we pull that off, right? So in the Army, I was able to work with like a lot of, like our office right before I got there, Petraeus was running the operation for Osama bin Laden out of the office I worked in. And it was only an office of like 4 people. So those are the type of situations that, you know, I was around. I wasn't in the office at that time, but those are the type of people and positions I was around and I got to work with at a strategic level, right? Wow. So again, a young man, right? Because at this point I'm a man, but I'm still like not there, right? Now I'm like put in a position with all these people that have been doing the Army for 15, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, they've got that wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom, and they're doing it at a very high level. So now I'm like, I've always been in these situations where I'm like working with people that are way above me, right? Which I'm grateful to be in those positions because I don't want to be in rooms all the time with people that I don't think I'm superior above anybody, but I do think wisdom and knowledge and, you know, so I don't want to be in those rooms all the time.
Likewise. I want to be in the rooms where, you know,
you're being pushed and driven and pulled to like the next level, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've been very fortunate to be in a lot of those rooms, and I'm still getting in those rooms where people are just like blowing me away with what they have to offer, right? So,
so did you start real estate after you got out of the Army, like directly after? Yeah.
So, where I was going with that was, so when I was in the Army, I found, I started doing network marketing. So like MLM, multi-level marketing, right? For a travel company. So we were just building this travel company on my 3 and 4 day weekends. I would travel, I'd go speak, or I'd take a trip through the company. And that was like my first venture into legitimate legal entrepreneurship. Right? So I was like, this is cool, right? Like people are positive, fun. They're always trying to learn and grow, reading books. I'm like, this is cool. So I got out of the Army with the hopes that was going to keep growing. Well, that went belly up. That stopped. So I had some ventures into real estate, like flipping and investing, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I lost a bunch of money in that. That's another conversation, lessons learned thing. But I took a government. So I went back to college for a little bit, and I'm sitting in business calculus. And I've always been decent at math. And I'm just sitting around. I looked around. I'm like, this is stupid. This is not where I need to be, right? College is important for specific people, specialty jobs, people that just want to go and push themselves for 4 years and show that they can sit in a classroom and be responsible and show up daily.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like that box feeling that I had in grade school, it was like creeping up. I'm like, this is dumb. Like this is not where I need to be. So I was like, okay, let me take a government job. I started applying to government jobs in my field from the Army, and I went out to Colorado. So I'm working at the base in Colorado and super flexible on schedule. Like I worked like 4 hours a week. They paid me like $100,000 a year. Very, very like cool. I could do what I wanted, right? It was nice. They would send me to Germany every other month or every couple months, and I would get a vacation there. And plus I would train the guys over there. The guys never wanted to train, so I travel. It was perfect, right?
Yeah.
But I just wasn't fulfilled. Like it was like anybody would love to have that job or that position. I just was not, like, it wasn't doing anything for me. So I remember my buddy, he sold his Remaxes and joined a brokerage called EXP. And I'm like, okay, why would my buddy Jay do that? And I looked up to Jay. Him and I were in travel company together. He was a very high ranking there. I respected him. I thought him and his wife just had incredible values. He was fun, bubbly, like personality is contagious, right? And I'm like, okay. So we stayed connected. And I was like, I saw that he like sold his Remaxes and joined EXP. And I'm like, okay, why would you do that? And he showed it to me, and I'm like, this is a pretty cool model. Keller Williams changed the game like 40 years ago. If what EXP does pulls it off, I'm like, dude, they are the future. But I still sat on the sidelines. I'm like, thank you for showing me. I don't want to get my real estate license. So I'm bored, working at my job, about a year into it. I'm like,
where were you living at this time?
Colorado.
Oh, okay. Colorado.
Yeah. So I'm in Colorado now. I'm bored at my job. I'm about a year in. I call my buddy Jay and I say, Jay, I'm going to get my real estate license. Can I join EXP with you? And he's like, yeah, of course everybody's going to say yeah. He's like, yeah, man, you got charisma and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. Well, I got my real estate license. Then I didn't do anything with it for about 4 or 5 months, like not one thing. Plus, I got it at the end of November. We're going through the holidays. My first, so this guy, I'm renting his apartment in Colorado Springs, and he's a major intelligence officer. He's like, hey, man, I'm selling my apartment, but don't worry. We're going to honor your lease or townhome. And I'm like, okay, but do you have an agent? You know?
Yeah.
And he was like, I do, but we haven't signed anything yet. And I'm like, I just got my real estate license. If you give me a shot, I'll beat their commission. Right. And so that kind of steamrolled it. And that year I sold 22 homes. And then the next year, 67. And then the next year, 176. Wow. The 176 was a mixture with some agents and myself.
Yeah.
And then the fourth year, 325. And then it's just been like, I don't have a team now, but yeah, that was my 4 years in Colorado. So,
wow, that's super crazy. You were licensed in Colorado, and when did you move down to Florida?
Yeah, so I got out of the Army in Florida. Okay. So I was in Florida going back to UWF.
Okay.
And then I took a government job. Never been to Colorado. I've been to Colorado one time prior to that for a conference. But Colorado Springs was new to me. Never did anything there. Yeah.
Okay.
So I lived in Florida, moved to Colorado, and then I moved back to Florida.
But you had gotten your license in Colorado,
yeah,
right?
So I got my real estate license in Colorado. And with the military or being a veteran, you have reciprocity. So I didn't have to take.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was able to get military preference and reciprocity. So I got my plus everybody in the state of Colorado is a broker associate. Everybody's a broker there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then they have employing broker, your managing broker, stuff like that. Here, you got sales person, you got broker, employing, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I had reciprocity, so I was able to get my real estate license here without taking tests and all that.
Yeah, yeah. So was the transfer from Colorado to Florida, was that like easy, or like as far as like business, did you immediately like get a bunch of business here in Florida?
No. So I started a team here, an expansion team from Colorado. A lot of lessons learned on building a real estate team is, a lot of it from a team leader's perspective, may or may not ruffle some feathers when I say this if you're a real estate agent on a team, but it's really, you want quality, you do. But to really turn that P&L to replace your personal business, right? Because most team leaders, they start a team because their business is thriving. They got so much business that they're like, okay, I think now it's time to turn to, delegate. Time to turn the corner and start leading other people.
Right.
But, you got to factor in, like, if as a solo agent, I was making anywhere from $500,000 to $800,000 a year, my own GCI. Now I got to go do a team, right? So now I'm managing a team, got to do other people's, like check other people's contracts, training, all this stuff. When do I have time to service 8 to 12 clients a month?
Yeah.
You don't. Like you just physically don't. Like unless you're Superman or Superwoman, and I just was not that, right?
Yeah.
So you start delegating, you start giving some of your business away, you start doing that. Well, slowly, if you're the only one producing all the business, you're the rainmaker. Well, slowly you watch your $500,000 to $800,000 you're making a year go to like 200 and then 100 because you're building your team.
Yeah.
So we got into like the Zillow, we were doing before Zillow Flex and the market-based pricing. But what a lot of people don't tell you is like, yes, you want the quantity of, or you want the quality of agents, but it's really when the P&L, profit and loss statement, starts to turn the corner is off the quantity of agents. And the sweet spot is like 50 plus agents. Well, we got to 50 plus agents, but I also had 3 partners at this time. So like whatever I would have been making is divided by 4. So I'm like, this is not worth my time, or headache. And, a lot of people, we built the team, originally around me. Like these agents that we're all on a kickball team together, by like chance. Someone put it together and we all happen to be in like the same industry. We were good, by the way. But well, I played kickball here at Lions Park, before I moved to Colorado. We were good here. And then, they recruited me based off my Instagram. Somebody saw that I like won a championship, so they recruited me this. But anyways, they like are all like, hey, we're all want to leave our brokerages. One was at Remax, one was at Sotheby's, one was at somewhere else. Don't matter. And they're like, hey, we want to start a team with you, but we'll come to EXP only if you'll start a team with us. I'm like, at that time, I'm like, oh yeah, 4 new recruits, right? Like I was not thinking the consequences of this team or like the circumstances. So I was like, sure, let's do it. So we built this team around me, and that is not a good system, right? Systems don't fail, people do.
Yeah.
You set up your systems so there's some continuity. Well, there's no continuity because they're all like, oh, we'll just do it how Andrew did it. Well, how I built my business doesn't necessarily fit on how everybody else is going to. We have to build a system and a process, and it has to be almost like everybody can do it. Right?
Yeah.
So we built this team, and we were just struggling for we looked really good, winning all these awards, one of the top teams at the company. But when you looked at our profit and loss statement, we weren't making money. Unless I wasn't out showing homes myself, listing homes, I probably would have been broke again. Wow. Right. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. So got rid of the team here, got rid of the team there, kind of dissolved all that partnership. And now I just do solo stuff. We have a YouTube channel that we posted on for a while with getting good business. Don't do that anymore. But yeah, so I'll just pass it back over to you.
Yeah. Gosh, all that's so cool. Like to know how your perspective of what a real estate team looks like and how you ran your team. I'm on a team right now, as you know. But that's just because I'm just starting. I don't really know what I'm doing. So it's helpful to have other people around me immediately available all the time to just help me out with something. But as far as like my long-term trajectory with real estate, well, it's something I've been thinking about for ever since I started real estate, praying a lot about clarity on like why I'm in real estate, why I got my license and why, 2 weeks after I got my license, God immediately gave me a listing, which is crazy. So I was like, okay, there's a reason that I'm doing this, but I don't really know why, but I'm trusting it. And, I've got a lot of big ideas that I want to work on. of course, the studio. I want to eventually get a commercial space for that, and have engineers who work out of that studio and record the music there. I want to own land. I want to, build a family. All these things, but yeah, I guess kind of where I was going with that is like, I think real estate is something that I am called to do as far as like supporting financially for the other things that I'm gonna be building on. So, I guess that could lead me into a question that I could ask you is like, what are your goals as of right now? Because we've got kind of the backstory of what you've done, and then we've got the now. But like, what are your goals now?
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind,
yeah.
Have you figured out the why?
The why behind why I'm in real estate?
Yeah.
I guess.
What do you love about it?
Well, I love negotiations. I love just I don't know. I guess the kind of excitement that it gives me, like going back and forth with someone and then coming to a meeting of minds, which I almost got there, but I had that contract fell through. I'm still learning, but I think I like the negotiations. I like being able to be of service to people. I think that's something that's super fulfilling to me. I think that's part of the reason I was drawn to like the service industry when I moved to Nashville, and like really had to start working for myself and making money for myself. And then, I guess just overall wanting to start a family and provide for them and own land of my own, because I feel like one thing that I'm really passionate about, and one thing that I feel like America is the greatest country to live in, is because we are able to own our own land and private land, and have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, like all these core elements that are what freedom is, at least in this physical world, are so valuable to me. So I believe another thing that I used to think about when I first started real estate was how important home ownership actually is, and owning land. So, it looks like, at least these past couple of years, that America's kind of moving to like a society of renters instead of a society of homeowners.
Yeah.
So I feel like long term, I want to be somebody who's a catalyst for encouraging people to own their own piece of land.
Yeah.
And
there's the reason. So I think we're at a point of renters because things are just so high. The cost is just so high, right? Like,
I also think there's a lot of fear mongering going on too, just with the news and with like all the things people are seeing on social media. It's just like scaring people out of it, because I don't think that it's not attainable, but people think it's not attainable to own land.
I mean, I agree, but I just had a conversation on recently, and it's with one of my business partners. I do government contracting too, so like construction for like DoD bases and stuff. So there's condos that are selling or that are worth $700,000.
Yeah.
That in 2008, the owners bought them for $200,000, and then during COVID, then it worked its way back up to like 500, because it was originally 500, dropped in 2008 to 200,000. They bought it, then it worked its way back up. Now worth 700,000. Mm-hmm. Those condos aren't worth 700,000, right? So I think there is, I do think things are attainable, but I think the gap closes for many people, because think about it. Your definition of success and my definition of success, or our ambition or our work ethic, doesn't necessarily match everybody else's.
Yeah.
Right? Some people can be okay with a very simple lifestyle, They don't need to have like tons of money, or they could be cool with like a $30,000 job or $60,000 job and be the happiest person on the planet, where you have somebody that has $500,000 a year and they're like the most miserable person on the planet. Right. Mm-hmm. But how do you create home ownership with things like cost of living? Right. There's things that are very high, right? Like that almost make it very like unattainable for the less ambitious people, right? So that gap closes, right? And I'm all about capitalism. I believe we're in the greatest country in the world. I feel like we have the most opportunity. There's a reason why people come to our country and leave theirs.
Exactly, yeah.
But I also know that things can't keep going in an upward trajectory like it has been.
Yeah. I mean, statistically, things are like a bit of a bubble right now, it seems like, and it's a bit inflated.
Do you follow Harry Dent?
Harry Dent?
Yeah.
No.
So, really big into the real estate space. He actually thinks, now he's on the far side of the spectrum, what I'm about to say, okay?
Yeah.
But he feels that we're heading to deflation. You know what a deflation is?
Is it the opposite?
It's the opposite of inflation, which is very, very bad, which is like negative.
Yeah.
I believe, if my mind, if I'm correct, that's actually what Germany was in at one point. Is they had negative interest rates. Right. You would it's insane. So he thinks, now let's just get back to the real estate. He thinks real estate is going to drop 30 to 50% soon. Like he thinks deflation is in our future. And he's calling it the Great Deflation. And he's got on some pretty big forums and talked about this. Tony Robbins, they have the Platinum Group members. You got to pay 85 to 100 grand a year to be in it. He's gotten up there and talked about it. And Tony Robbins, he brings people from both sides, controversial, people that are pro crypto, people that are against crypto, people that are pro real estate, because he wants you to have perspective, right? Because he doesn't want you to be sold. He wants you to sell yourself on what perspective you believe in, right? Which is good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but he's got up on those big forums and have said like 30, 50, 70% drop. So, and that's because things are just so outrageously priced that we're in a bubble. So interesting. I know we're a little bit off topic, but yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I think it's good to talk about because, the average first-time home buyer now is upwards of 40 years old.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
But it is. And so it's just got me wondering, like, what would be like a good plan to turn this thing around, Because it seems like, I don't know, after the pandemic, everything was just weird, and it seems like things just didn't go back to normal.
Yeah. Are you asking my opinion?
Well, what's your idea? What are your thoughts on that?
Like a lot of the values that this country was built off of are like gone, or we can see them just slipping away very quickly.
Yeah.
We can talk about Christianity, we can talk about capitalism, we can talk about all that stuff, right? Because they all apply. So I think like you gotta go back to the basics, right? Like I think you got to cut the head off the snake, which is a lot of, the politicians, those careerists, those people that are just in there. They went in. There's no way that somebody with a $200,000 paycheck a year is worth $30 million. There's no way. Unless, and with their demanding schedule, right? While serving the American people at the highest level. There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way.
That is robbery, right? So I think you gotta figure out how to taper that off, because change is important, right? People change, perspectives change, our spirituality changes, our ideology changes, our relationships change, our business change, everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
How come that is the most non-changing environment that we have? Like, it's the most archaic system that we have, and it's supposed to be running the biggest business in the world, right? So I think when you gotta change that. You got to get people in that actually care about America. The problem is the people that care about America don't want to be around any of those people. They want to go out and build businesses and employ Americans and provide service, and they're scared to get in that because they just watched what happened to Donald Trump. And listen, I voted for Donald Trump. I'm not saying everything he does I agree with. I'm not saying that. I don't think that about anybody.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything somebody does, right? Like, me and my wife, we don't agree on everything, and we're the closest people we're the closest to each other, right?
Yeah.
But they just watched what happened to him, dragging him through court and all that stuff. And you think these big patriotic business people want to put themselves through that? No, they don't. Right. So I think you got to try to change the culture up there. And then you got to fix the taxation because there is no way that like Americans are paying like 25 to 50% tax on stuff, and we're struggling to find money to do things, or like we're sending like $5 million to Brazil for sex changes. I'm like, dude, like, stop. Like, keep money in here. There's like, we need to focus on America. There's great saying, everybody's probably very familiar with it. You're in an airplane, and the first thing they tell you to do is to put your mask on before you help anybody else.
Right.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
You can't help people
if you
can't breathe.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so why are we trying to help everybody else? Let's strengthen our foundation here, fix it. And that's kind of, I don't think he did it fast enough. I thought that's where we were going. He was going to come in, he was going to dismantle everything. He was going to rebuild it from the ground up, build it like a business. I don't know what's going on right now. I feel like it's being like manipulated. I feel like things are like not what we were told was going to happen. At the beginning, it looked great. Doge looked great. I'm in government contracting. So like, for me to say this, like, Doge was great. Cut all contracts, rebuild this thing, start fresh. But now we're like in this like weird area that
it seems like nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
Like, things are being said, but everything's just at a standstill. Like, stagnant.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I feel like, I don't know, I was in high school when Trump's first term was happening. Yeah. And it seemed like, things were good. Like, life was good. Like, things were getting done. Like, I was 16 years old, but I was paying like nothing at the gas pump, really. So, now I'm paying like twice what I was. And I don't know, the whole thing with Iran is going on right now. What can you do about that? But I just feel like, politics seems, the more I look at it, like kind of like a social club, like an elite social club, if that makes sense. And it's like, if you're on the outside of that, the only way to influence that social club is to like, I guess like the best way that people are doing it is by like giving them money. Yeah. Like the people like Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or like all these other people who like have a bunch of money, they can influence that group of people by giving them money. Yeah.
They're right or left, right? This is how I feel it goes. They just argue in public, and then they go behind closed doors and they're like, was our theatrical show good enough? Like, was it? Like, oh, you got money from him, I got money from him too. Let's just figure out how we can just make this go on a little bit longer. Then we'll just finally agree. You get what you want, I get what I want, and we just go our separate ways. And it's usually a trust fund or something like that. That's how I feel like it goes. And so that's why I feel like it just needs to be dismantled. And you got to have like real patriot, like people that actually love the country, right? I believe Donald Trump loves this country. It's given him everything, him and his family, everything. I just don't see where he's going right now. So I'm a little thrown off by it, but
yeah. This was like a thought that came up as we were talking about this, because everything goes back to the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like everything attaches back to what God said about this world. And I'm still a relatively new Christian. Like I haven't even read through the whole Bible yet. I got saved in 2024, like at the end of the year, and then got baptized at the beginning of 2025. A little bit like a background about my walk with Jesus, I guess, is that I grew up in a Christian family. My grandfather was a Reverend Baptist, but I grew up kind of going to church. But when we would go to a non-denominational church that was like in the community, and but we kind of were just like churchgoers on Easter and Christmas for the most part.
Yep.
So I never really understood like my personal, or that I could have a personal relationship with God. You know, he was there, but I didn't really understand like why he was there, or like what I could do in prayer to be in communication with him.
yeah.
So once middle school came around, I really started trying to fit in with like all the people who I thought were cool and whatnot. And so I kind of fell away from my faith and started reading and watching a lot of YouTube videos about science and just how things work and how we study them in this world. And eventually, freshman year of high school, I learned what an atheist was, and I was like, oh yeah, I think I'm an atheist. And so I lived that way for a few years. And you know, my family, my parents were or are still believers and were back then, but they never really like talked about God much with me. And my grandfather, like I said, was a reverend. He actually lived with us when I was growing up, but he was like pretty much always in the basement, or because he had his little kind of his own house in the basement. And then he would pretty much either be down there or at church, like pretty much all the time. And I didn't really have like a, I guess, intimate relationship with my grandfather. But yeah, so in high school, I became an atheist, identified as an atheist, and until I was 17 years old. And then I actually took LSD when I was 17 years old. And the first time I took it, it was like, you know, my entire worldview was just shattered, like out the window, because I was experiencing literal like hallucinations, illusions, seeing spirits, I guess I would say, seeing just things that I couldn't comprehend. And so after I experienced that, I knew and felt in my soul that there was something greater than just matter in the world. So I tried taking LSD many other times, also mushrooms and ecstasy, you know, and a few other things here and there. But it, of course, you know, didn't really lead me down the best path. In fact, it made it worse for me. Like I became even more depressed than I ever was, more anxious, you know, less willing to talk to people, and more in my head than ever before. And so me and a good friend of mine had a falling out right before I moved to Nashville, which was in 2022. Actually, we had that falling out, and then right after that, I was basically like, okay, I need to get out of St. Louis, which is where I grew up. I need to get out of St. Louis. I'm moving to Nashville, and I'm just gonna pursue this music dream. So I kind of after I moved to Nashville, there was like a couple other trips that I had like on psychedelic drugs, but after those trips, I kind of put it down and was just like, okay, now I'm just going to seek truth. And once I started setting my mind with that intention, I want to seek truth, I started noticing little changes in my life, like, you know, a little more gratitude here and there. But, you know, I would still say I was, for the most part, depressed and anxious, and it was challenging. Every day was challenging, a struggle. And so eventually I had a friend over to my studio who was a music producer, and we would always have conversations about like our worldviews. And I kind of had the worldview at the time that, you know, good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. Karma was like the thing that I kind of saw as truth, you know? I guess I also had a confused view of what good actually was, because I guess like my moral compass didn't have a script to go off of. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have any goal. So my friend, he was a Christian, and he went to this Bible study every week on Wednesday or Tuesday nights, I think it was. And so he invited me to go, and the book of Job was the book that they were in the middle of, which kind of has that whole idea of karma in it. You know, Job's friends were telling him, you must have done something bad to deserve this. Like, there's no way God would just do this to you, and, you know, if you didn't do any sin or if you didn't do any bad. But God called Job a righteous man before all of this happened. And then you see at the end of the book, which I you know, eventually got to during that Bible study, that, you know, Job never cursed God, and God's judgment is righteous and God's judgment is just. And so after I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, like this actually makes a lot of sense. I'm going to keep reading the Bible. Started doing Bible studies with my brother, and eventually like the evidence just became overwhelming. I always tell this story too, that eventually one day I decided I'm just going to thank Jesus today. Like, I was in the mindset of like being thankful for things and being grateful, but this time I was like, this time I'm going to thank Jesus specifically for it. And so I went through a green light. I think it was in East Nashville. And I just said, thank you, Jesus. I just went through a green light. That's a good thing, you know? And I noticed this just feeling in my heart where Jesus was like, say it again, you know, just say it again. And it kind of became a snowball thing where like every little thing that day I was pointing out that was good, I was just say, thank you, Jesus. And eventually, I don't know, a couple weeks later, I had this overwhelming feeling of the Holy Spirit just coming over me as I was thanking Him in prayer. And from that moment on, I was like, I give you my life, you know, everything. And so that's kind of my testimony and my, I guess, walk with Jesus. So I'm interested to hear yours as well. And kind of tie it back into the whole political thing. You know, full circle.
Yeah. So, 100%. Like, if, you know, gratitude is one of the pillars that will help you thrive in life, right? Mm-hmm. Tony Robbins, I'm a big Tony Robbins guy.
I just started like reading a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, and it's really good, right?
He's really good at what he does.
Yeah, he's really good. He's the GOAT in his industry. Yeah, like he was definitely, I believe he was anointed to put positivity in people's lives, right?
It seems like that,
yeah. He just is what he is, right? Yeah. But he learns how to like develop you, right? So anyway, so he puts it very good. Like, you can't be sad, pissed off, anything, and be grateful at the same time.
Yeah.
So figure out how to be grateful about everything, right? Like, because all the other stuff won't even happen, right?
Yeah.
Like you just won't be, there's no reason you could be sad and grateful at the same time. There's no way. Your body can't physically do it, right?
Yeah.
So glad you brought up gratitude. So that's one thing that I've struggled with, right? Is being grateful for the things. Like my parents growing up, they gave me everything I wanted. There was no earning it. There was no like, wow, like you bought me this. No, it was like almost like expected, entitled. So like from a young age, that was like the conditioning I had. So I have to really focus, this is a weakness of mine. I have to focus really on seeing the gratitude in things and being grateful and having that attitude. So I have a gratitude journal that I write in every day. Sometimes in the morning, I try to do it in the morning to get my mind right. Like gym, gratitude journal, read the Bible if I got time, right? And I just try to do those things, or I listen to a podcast or something like that. That's positive, right?
Yeah.
So my walk has been interesting. So at the beginning, I shared that grew up in a highly Catholic area. And I thought a lot of it was BS. Like I just could see through it. It just was not, it was like all these like rules and things. And then I watched people throughout the week do what they did, talk how they talk, gossip how they gossip, be who they are. And then on Sunday, they were like completely different person. I'm like, I don't want any part of that.
Right.
Like I'm just going to, I am who I am. I'm this like terrible kid, but at least I'm true to myself. At least I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not, right? So I'm not saying that was a good person. That wasn't a good version of me, but at least I wasn't being fake.
Yeah.
Right. So
God wants somebody honest.
Yeah. So I went through all these years of being very distant, didn't know if I believed or not, questioning things. So I used to question things to try to debunk it. And then once I realized that, for 2,000 years, people have tried to debunk the Bible and Jesus and all that, and it just hasn't happened. So Andrew Vose from small little town that has no art, like no theology, like nothing, I ain't gonna debunk it. Okay, so it's real, right?
Yeah.
So it's real.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do about it? So I've gone through these phases in my life where I've been all in, and then I've been all like tiptoed out or been all out. Let me rephrase that. Since I've realized that I can't debunk it through my questioning, I've never been all out. I've always just been like half in. Like half out type deal, but I've never been all out. I've been saved multiple times, right? Like, cause go through life and I'm like, I say life happens, but it's such a cop out. When my daughter's mom and I separated, we weren't married or anything. I was like, okay, I'm kind of feeling lost. I'm like kind of drinking, kind of doing, partying here and there. So like 1 week on with my daughter, 1 week off. The 1 week off with my daughter was like party, right? Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to do this, right? It's cool for like a month. And then I'm like, dude, I'm tired. Like this sucks. Like I'm not this is not fun for me anymore. So I got into youth ministry over in Gulf Breeze at Calvary Chapel. So we were traveling down to Mexico, evangelizing, helping the sister church down there, doing some work, community work, stuff, outreach and stuff like that. That was really cool because I was with high school kids, and I was in my 20s. And I thought I had a lot to offer, right? I had a lot of perspective to give them because, I'm newly walking in my faith, but I've seen a lot of stuff, right? And, just relatable, right? Like I can sit down, I can listen to them and be like, hey, I'm not that much farther ahead of you. And in some aspects, you're probably farther ahead than me.
Right.
So what can I learn from you?
Yeah.
Right. So it was really good time. But then what I did was I decided to take that job in Colorado. And I got into when I took the job in Colorado, let's fast forward to when I got my real estate license, is a guy named Ryan. I can't think of his last name. I kind of shut Colorado chapter out of my life. So guy named Ryan, he was a pretty big realtor there. We got connected somehow, but he's like, let me take you to lunch. And at lunch, he was like, let me give you some advice. Good looking guy. You're in shape. You're probably going to do very well in this industry. Don't let the industry control you. There's going to be a ton of temptation. Alcohol, drugs, women, like all this stuff. I'm like, dude, I got this. I know how to say no to all that. A year in, I didn't take any of his advice.
Yeah.
I'm like doing this same, like, I'm doing this party life, right? Like, I'm like on cloud 9.
Right, yeah.
Right? At least I think I am.
Yeah.
And, you know, what happened was I was depressed. I was like numbing myself to like just get through the days. Where I, like, on the outside looking in, you're like, dude, that guy's killing it. He's got everything. No, I didn't have. Can I cuss on this?
Oh yeah.
I didn't have shit.
Yeah.
So I probably already cussed. I just didn't realize it. But that I was consciously confident I was about to. I was like, I don't have anything, right? Like, so I have like no purpose. Yeah. Okay. You said something about you get to serve people. I was back into a military community because it's a high military area. I was able to serve people I could relate with, like get them in houses, give them really advice, be honest with them. No, I like this house. No, I don't. Here's what I see that's jacked up. Here's not. So that was the only plus I had there. And I'm grateful I got into the real estate industry because it's opened up a ton of other doors for me. So I'm not, this is not coming from a place of like lack of gratitude. I'm grateful for the whole experience, but I did everything that guy told me not to do. And I was like empty. He's like, dude, it almost messed up my marriage, cheated on my wife. I did all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm not going to do any of that. And I wasn't married at the time, but you can see kind of where I was going with it. But like, I should have listened, and I should have been more consciously aware of what was the path I was, because things like that happen they happen in like little small increments, and before you know it, you're like so far into it. Yeah. You're like, how did I get here? Yeah. So back to it. So I moved back to Florida, and I'm still pretty distant from my faith. I didn't think I went to church like one time, maybe picked up my Bible one time. 4 years in Colorado. Oh, let me backtrack to Colorado. I had this guy named Daniel Jones on my team. Okay. He's how I met him was his aunt introduced us. He just got back from Papua New Guinea or whatever on a mission trip, basically dying of malaria. Wow. Dude had malaria. And he was getting his real estate license. I was like, you want to join my team, but make sure you go get taken care of first. Like, don't die. We're like sitting in a coffee shop. Anyways, very strong in his faith. Very strong. Like, we would spend a lot of time together, and he would just be dropping these little hints to me. You know, like, he would be standing behind me and be like, dude, I feel like there's a lot of people, that you have a lot of warriors and a lot of angels looking over, watching out for you. I'm like, all right, Dan. All right, whatever, dude. He's like, can I pray with you? I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah. So I used to just close my eyes and not think about anything, except when this dude's going to get his hand off me and like, stop, you know? But now I'm consciously, like, whenever somebody's praying, I'm consciously saying a prayer with them, or like, so like times have changed, but like he kept the wheels turning in my head, and I'm grateful for him too, because if I wouldn't have had him around, it would have been like completely empty. Like, yeah. So he had an impact in my life. I should probably call him and tell him. I think I have told him, but fast forward, still like kind of move. I'm still kind of doing the same thing in Florida. 1 week on with my daughter, 1 week off. The week she's with her mom, I'm just partying, you know. Then I met my wife, and you know, we had like the honeymoon phase, and then she was like, "Hey, if we're gonna get married, we're gonna have to change some of this stuff." Mm-hmm. I'm like, "What do you mean? This is like a perfect life." You know, we're like, she's like, "No, we're gonna have to change some stuff." So we've gotten church. We're in groups at church. We're actively engaged. I'm playing for their softball team, nice. Right? Like I'm like in it now. And so my walk's been, you know, in and out. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I used to ask questions to try to debunk. Now I ask questions to understand. And I'm like, why is this? Why is that? Not because I think it's not real. Yeah. No, it's because I want to know the perspective. Plus I want to know my campus pastor's perspective. I want to know the youth leader's perspective. I want to know your perspective, right? Mm-hmm. Because if there's something I'm missing, and I don't want to miss anything, right? Like obviously I'm not going to know everything. I haven't read the Bible front to back. I read what comes to me in that moment, or how I'm feeling based off an emotion, or based off somebody's recommendation, or a phase of my life. Like I'm reading Mark right now, just to kind of make sure I know how all the miracles there were, like they came about, right? Yeah. You know, Proverbs, Psalms, all those. So those are the three I'm reading right now based off my day. So my walk hasn't been clean, right? It's been like, my wife gets mad at me when I say this, but I'm kind of like David. You know, I kind of like, you know, I just live on the edge a little bit. And then when life hits me again, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, that was, hey, come back, dude. Like that was a little bit like not where you're supposed to be. Just come back, go that way, you know? Yeah. And then she's like, yeah, why do you want to be David? I'm like, because he always loved God, and that's why God saved him so many times, and you know, helped him out, and that's what he's done for me. I mean, this could have only been God. Like there's no other reason. I'm standing on the side of this mountain on a goat trail, cliff, goat trail, mountain up. So there's nowhere for me to go. We start getting like shot at in Afghanistan.
Jeez.
And everybody gets down, and I stand there and I freeze, right? Because everybody says they're tough until bullets start flying. Yeah. And then you don't know what's going to happen. And I froze up that time. Bullets all around. I'm like watching, like there's that scene from Jarhead in like slow motion where the mortars are coming in. If you ever seen that movie, it's like slow motion. That's what it felt like. Boom, 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 boom. Like all around me. And I'm like, this is weird. And I'm like sitting there, or like standing there, and all of a sudden I just feel my buddy Rob, he just grabs me and pulls me down. He's like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just froze up.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, all right, get back in this thing. Wow. So so then we did our thing, but like just all around me, like it was like a perfect circle all around me. Besides directly in front of me and directly behind me.
Oh my god!
I'm like, dang, all right, well, and I've had moments like that. Like me and my wife, we were kind of questioning whether or not we should get married or we should be together. And we're at this conference in Destin. And we're out to lunch with a buddy of mine, Joe. He became a buddy after that conference. So really good guy. He's running a church out in Colorado now. But so we're standing there, and a lady just comes V-lines. Never met this lady before. She's not part of our conference or nothing. V-lines straight to me and my wife from across the bar.
Dang.
She's like sitting there drinking, right? Not part of our conference. We're just there having lunch. Comes over and says, God just told me that you guys are meant to be together. I'm like,
well, how much more clear could it be?
I'm like, okay. You know, that hasn't, and let me be clear, like everybody thinks like, or maybe they don't think this, and that's good to not think this, but that you don't still have struggles because you're a Christian. You don't struggle with your faith. You don't struggle with your marriage. You don't struggle with your business relationship. No, you just learn to struggle. You just learn to deal with the struggle differently, right? Because everybody's going to go through stuff. So because of that lady telling me and my wife that, we still struggle. We still need to figure life out, right? Marriage is the most beautiful thing. You put two people of the opposite sex together, the opposite different views, opposite everything, and you're like, hey, live together.
Yeah.
Create a family, raise a child together, right? Like do all this stuff together. So yeah, we still have our challenges, but that like was our confirmation we needed. Like, you know, even when we're like fighting or we're arguing, one of us will always go back. Like, remember that time at McGuire's? This lady told us and God told her.
Yeah.
So we can't do anything like differently. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's good that you've been faithful to that, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a struggle. I mean, like blended family. Statistically, we're like against all odds. Blended families like have like please don't quote me on this. It's like 60 some odd % chance of failing. It's like high. Like it might be like 70 or 80.
Yeah.
Right, because you have kids that were. Well, you got all different things, elements and stuff like that. So right now we're defying the odds. That's cool.
How many kids do you have with her?
4 total.
Okay.
So she came with 2, I came with 1, and then we created one together.
Wow.
So 14-year-old boy, 11-year-old girl, 8-year-old girl, and a 15-month-old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. God bless them all.
Yeah. Yeah, and us.
Yeah. and you.
Yeah. So.
So I guess to wrap it up, do you plan on staying in Florida for, the foreseeable future? Do you have plans to go anywhere or?
No, we like to travel, but I don't want to leave until like at least the 2 older ones are through school, like off to college doing their thing. So at least 7 more years, right? Yeah. But I don't really like driving like long road trips.
Yeah,
but
I don't like driving long road trips.
Yeah, but I've been getting this kind of like urge to buy this like Airstream and just like hooking it up. But I don't want to buy one big enough for all 4 kids plus us 2. So I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
But I've just been kind of getting this urge to like just drive and just kind of be like, I don't know if this is a negative term or not, like a nomad, like, just kind of like just go off and just do our thing. And we just kind of like sit in our little like lawn chairs at our RV park and just hang out.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had, visions of myself doing the same thing. Honestly,
it
it's
just
something
seems fun.
Yeah. It seems fun,
but it's the driving
from
point A to point B to C, D. It's
but I feel like it wouldn't be as bad as if like you went to some place and stayed there for like a month or 2 and then made another like long drive or whatever, you know, because you can park an Airstream and stay somewhere for, a decent amount of time.
Yeah. And it's super affordable, but no, we're going to stay in Florida for a while at least.
Yeah.
My businesses are not or like necessarily static to Florida, right? So real estate is on that side, on like the buyer seller side. Mortgage is not. We're in 47 states. Title we're in 45 or no. Mortgage we're in 45. Title we're in 47. And then my government contracting can take me all over Southeast. So, yeah, I'm not stuck here, but this is home for now.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I guess the last thing is if you were to pass off a message to this next generation who are becoming adults right now and trying to navigate this world and figure out what they want to do with themselves, even because I feel like a lot of people who go to college, they'll change their major 3 times and graduate and still not even know what they want to do with themselves. So I guess what would you tell them, and what would you tell even yourself if you could go back and tell your younger self something?
Yeah.
So
2 things, and I really like these because I think it kind of encompasses everything, is purpose and proximity. So deeply search for your purpose that God has for you, right? And it may take trial and error, may get it wrong, but constantly seek that purpose. Like, what am I supposed to do in this life, right? Because it's not just like be a robot or a sheep and die. Like, everybody's like meant to do something. It's like whether you like have your eyes open to see it, right? Well, eyes and mind, right? You you need your mind. You need your eyes, mind, and heart to like all to kind of really get it. So find your purpose, and then proximity. So when I was younger, I had no purpose and I was around the wrong people. Well, what did that cause me to do? Do all the wrong things. Be the bad person, do the bad stuff, like all this stuff, right? And I'm not blaming those people, but people do influence our thoughts, our minds. I mean, look at the media, right? People are so influenced by that. So get around, find your tribe. And the great thing about over time is you're going to grow and evolve. Be open to that change to grow and evolve. Don't say, oh, this is who I am. No, it's not who you are. My 20-year-old Andrew is not 30-year-old Andrew, is not 40-year-old Andrew. No, I'm probably not going to have the same friends, probably not going to be doing the same business. Well, maybe the same business, but not going to have the same, maybe have a stronger like a spiritual, maybe have less, maybe my theology is deeper. Maybe it's like, I'm not expected to stay the same. Like somebody very close to me, I said something controversial on one of my social media platforms, and it's not really controversial to me. It is just vocal. It's controversial to them because of their ideology behind it. But somebody reached out to me and said, "You've changed." And I instantly went into like defending my position. No, I haven't changed. I'm the same person you've always known. And then I'm like, why am I defending that? I'm actually not the same person that they know or that they knew or that they were raised with or whatever. Like I'm not that person. So like don't be afraid to cut people off, to make new friends, to, I'm not saying be mean to people. You gotta love people, but there's time and place for people. And if those people aren't serving you at a high level and you don't feel a way to serve them, find new people, right? So find your purpose, find your proximity of people. Proximity isn't just people. It's, spirituality, it's fitness, it's health, wealth, all that stuff.
Yeah. It makes sense. Like, if I'm understanding it correctly, it's you have your purpose, which is kind of like your vision for yourself and like where you want to be. Yeah. And then the proximity part is like what you can do now to get closer to that. Like it's what you can do and surround yourself with and be in the presence of in order to be that person who you see. Yeah.
I mean, if I want to be a youth pastor, guess what I'm doing? Probably starting out as a youth leader by a good group of people, and I'm surrounding myself with that. If I want to be the best realtor, I'm surrounding myself with the best realtors, not the not best realtors, not the ones that are just going out to lunch and talking about other realtors, right? I want to be around people that are winning at a high level of whatever I want to do. And if that means I need to get uncomfortable, I need to like stretch myself a little bit. If I need to feel small in a room, I'll feel small. Yeah. Right? Like that's the right room to be in.
Right. Because you're going to grow. You're going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking bold right now. Yeah. And it's definitely getting me out of my comfort zone and pushing me to do things in a different way and in a more, I guess like we were talking about earlier, how in business, I guess you said men need this aggression, but in business, it's kind of like you need that aggression. You need that motivation to be the person to say the thing that is going to provoke provoke what you want in someone else to
Yeah.
get a response that you want, you know?
Yeah.
So you can't be afraid to say certain things. You can't be afraid to reach out, and you have to be bold, you
Yeah.
know? That's
Yeah.
the whole like premise of it. So yeah, I'm learning that right now, and I'm super excited to just continue to grow in that space because, you know, it's one of those spaces where I have that proximity, you know, the best agents or I guess like the most motivated agents in Pensacola are in the same room together, and I get to surround myself with them, talk to them, you know, get to know them, and, you know, soak up whatever I can from them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, bold is great, but also the people who I'm surrounding myself with are great too. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Well, just keep doing what you're doing because how old are you?
23.
Yeah, I wasn't doing what you're doing at 23. I had a military career, yes, but I was not motivated like you are, right? So respect there. I mean, that is, just keep doing it. Just keep moving forward, right? Like producing, podcasting, real estating, all that stuff. Yeah, I just, I look back and I'm like, there's so much stuff I could have done. Not in a regretful way, because I don't have it. Like I said, like even all that bull crap I went through when I was younger, that was self-induced. Like it didn't happen to me. I caused it. Mm-hmm. But I'm grateful for that, right? Like that is right.
And you have to.
So I don't have any regret, but there's like things that I like want to just make sure that like at least my kids, like, hey, no, I screwed up here. Like, don't do that. Like, do not do that. I mean, just do not, right? Like, so
the way you say it is good too, because like some parents will like get like mad at their kids for like, I guess like thinking about doing the thing that they did that they don't want their kids to do. And that actually makes them be more curious about it, So it's like there's a certain way about going about it too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't have a handbook. I don't know the right way to like.
Yeah, no parent.
I'm just like, okay, like you're gonna know my story. You're gonna know the consequences I went through. If you want to go through that, that's on you.
Yeah.
Right. Like I just suggest you don't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, good. Thank you for talking, and thank you for coming on the
podcast.
I was super excited about this podcast. Like, I set up the mics and everything last night. I know I wasn't fully prepared when you got here, but it was super exciting for me to just take some time to talk to you and just share stories with you, which is like what I want this podcast to kind of be all about, is because like people can learn from these stories, you know?
Yeah.
And these stories are valuable, and I feel like, everybody's got a story to share that can add value to somebody else's life. So it's good that we talked about all these things. And, sometime in the future, I'm sure we'll have another one.
Yeah.
And,
if there's anything I can do for anybody that watch this, you just let me know.
Sweet. Yeah. I'll have any links that you want in the description for people to check out. But yeah, this has been the Paris-Gainey podcast. Thank you all for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, check out the links in the description, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.